You are beginning to enjoy your own desire. That's everything, isn't it? Because you can't help but produce a new desire. The universe is oriented in that way. So the new desire is constantly born within you. And if it's torturing you, you're in big trouble. Because you cannot effectively cease your desire. Too many eons of creation have preceded you. Contrast helps you to conclude, consciously or unconsciously, your own preferences. And you emit them vibrationally. You can't stop it. In the same way you can't fight gravity, you cannot fight law of attraction. So as the desire emanates from you, a vibrational signal which you may be aware of or you may not be aware of, but it's happening in any case. As this vibrational signal radiates from you and law of attraction responds to it, you really have only one thing to do, and that's make sure you are offering a clear signal. So when your desire feels good to you, in the moment of that good feeling, your signal is clear. But if you want something that you do not believe you can achieve, if you want something that does not seem possible, in your thought about it not being possible, you introduce a contradictory signal which holds you vibrationally out of alignment with your own desire. You are flesh, blood, and bone. Yes, you are. Beautiful creatures, you are indeed. But you are electrical beings. You are transmitting and receiving mechanisms. This universe is based upon vibration. And when you become consciously aware of your own vibrational nature, then and only then can you be in deliberate creative control of your own experience. You are in control of your own experience, but it's not really appropriate to use the word control when you have no idea what you're doing. In other words, you are the creator of your own experience, but unless you are aware of your vibrational nature, and unless you are aware of what your emotions are telling you about your vibrational state of being, then you are creating by default. Whatever you give your attention to activates a vibration within you. Whether you're thinking about past, present, future, doesn't matter. Whatever you're focused upon activates a vibration within you. So if you think about what you want, that activates a vibration within you. And if you could maintain that vibration, law of attraction would deliver it to you very quickly. But as you focus upon what you want, but then you notice that it isn't happening, and you focus upon what you want, but then you wonder what's taking so long, now you are offering all kinds of contradictory vibrations, and what you want cannot easily come to you. Not because you're bad, and not because you're inappropriate, and not because you're unworthy, but in the same way that you do not call your radio inappropriate or unworthy when you set your dial or your tuner on a station that is different than the one you really want to hear. You understand that if you want to hear what's being broadcast on 101 FM, you've got to line your tuner up with that. You don't say, stupid, unworthy radio. If you were really good, if you'd been born under the right star, if you hadn't been bad in past lives, you would be able to play anything that I want to hear. You understand the frequencies have to line up. And the same thing is true with you. You got to line your frequency up with the frequency of your desire, or you are preventing your own desire from being realized. It's as simple as that. Everything is about vibration, and every vibration is managed by law of attraction. So when you give your attention to something, it activates a vibration within you. Focus is your creative edge. What genius is on any subject is just attention to the subject, because law of attraction takes care of the rest. Think about your own experience, or play with it today and tomorrow. Give your attention to something. Choose something where you don't have all kinds of contradictory feelings about it. Choose something that's sort of neutral as far as you are concerned. and write it on a notebook and focus on it for a minute or two and write words such as, I am interested in this subject and I have been wondering about this subject and I wonder if there's any information out there for me about this subject. And you will be bowled over by how many things turn up on that subject simply because you have activated it. Jerry and Esther had lunch at a restaurant that they go to frequently when they're in the area. And as they walked in, they were singing a song. And then they spent an hour in the restaurant. They talked to several people. They talked with each other on several other subjects. And when they walked back out the door, they picked the song up right where it left off. And Esther said, we left that thought form right here on this porch. And we walked right back into it. They laughed about it. But experiences like this let you know that the thought even lingers for a while. In other words, you can walk into a room where a happy party has taken place, and if you are in vibrational alignment with well-being, you'll pick right up where that happy party left off. And in fact, as you are born into these physical bodies, you do experience the vibrational continuum of the generations that have come before you. Their desires as they have lived as individuals and their collective mass consciousness desire has emanated to the boundaryless boundaries of the universe, and law of attraction is answering all of those requests. So each generation who follows the previous generation benefits by the desires that have been exuded by mass consciousness. You see, all you have to do is ask, and it is given. But so many of you stand in your now missing something that you want, and you would argue with that. You would say, surely it is not that way, because I know there are many, many, many things I've been asking for that are not coming to me or have not yet come to me. I see no evidence of them inside. And we say, that's because you are not, in those cases, a vibrational match to your own asking. You're asking for something you don't believe, but you're not believing it is the dominant vibration within you. So, you are magnificent genius creators who have at your basis freedom. You are so free you can choose bondage. And at this free basis, you have greater worthiness and legacy for well-being that we could find words or time to convey if we spent all day, every day, the rest of all of your physical life experiences. Your worthiness is not an issue to anyone but to you. And the reason that so many of you do not feel worthy of well-being is because you've been offering vibrations not knowing how you're offering, and then taking score of what's coming back in response to your vibration, and then concluding that somebody outside of you must be concluding that you are unworthy, and therefore that is why you are holding yourself apart. And we're wanting you to understand that nobody's affecting your vibration but you. Oh yes, there are plenty of influences. And when you give your attention to those that you grow up around, in other words, there is a lot of influence. You learn your vibrations from your parents. You learn your vibrations from those around you in your schools. You learn your vibrations from the television. You learn your vibrations from your own experience. There is plenty of influence to go around. But what we are wanting to reawaken within you today is that you never ponder and therefore activate a vibrational influence without your guidance system saying to you, you're on your way back to Phoenix. We know you said you want to go to San Diego, but you've just made a U-turn. Jerry and Esther spent the night in Yuma last week. Esther said, this is scary. But it just turned out that way as they broke the miles from San Diego to San Antonio. It was about the right spot for a night there. And so they spent the night in a very nice place. And then in the morning, Esther said, let's go find a Yuma sign. We should take a picture of it for the quarterly journal. Esther said, we'll take the big red suitcase and we'll put it under the sign, and I will sit on it and look discouraged. And Jerry said, the only problem with that is the sign is 20 feet in the air and you'll be sitting down here on the ground. And then Esther saw the perfect sign. It said, Phoenix that way, San Diego that way. And Esther said, that's the picture. Get the camera, get the camera, get the camera, get the camera. But before Jerry could get the camera, they had passed under the sign. So, no problem. We will make a U-turn. So Which is not the easiest thing to do with a rig that is 67 feet long, but they made the turnaround, came back to the sign, and Esther is going very slow. The cars behind her are wondering what is happening. And Jerry is poised at the windshield to take the picture, but the lens cover is over the... And so he misses the picture. No problem, we'll make another U-turn. So they turn around again, they come back. This time, the camera says, out of memory. No problem, we'll make another U-turn. This time we'll stop. So they stop. Esther dumps the pictures out of the camera. They make another U-turn. They get right there to take the picture, and this time the camera says, no power. No problem. They turned on the generator, plugged in the camera, made another U-turn, and a delightful picture they did get. Esther said, we are living Abraham's self-fulfilling prophecy. We are spinning around in Yuma. The only reason that anyone would stay someplace that they don't want to be is because where they are has more of their attention than where they want to be. You cannot put your attention upon what you are desiring and predominantly offer a vibration about what you are desiring without moving there. The entire universe is orchestrated in that way. And we have to say to you, it would not be possible for you to have conjured a desire that is inaccessible to you. That can't happen. If you have the ability to conceive it, this time-space reality has the ability to deliver it. But you've got to match your own desire. You got to feel good about your desires. And if you don't feel good about your desires, then we would not think about them. Do not torture yourself. And that leads us to the most significant thing that we're wanting to give to you. You ask and it is always given. That's step 1 and 2. We'll just tell you that right off. You ask, can't stop it. Source answers, would never stop it. But step 3 is you've got to be a vibrational match to what you're asking for. When you are in alignment with your desire, it feels like elation. It feels like clarity. It feels like love. It feels like joy. It feels like freedom. It feels like fun. When you are in the state of allowing, it always feels fresh and good. When you are in the state of disallowing or resistance, it feels like fear, it feels like anger, it feels like frustration. It doesn't feel good. There are only 2 emotions. One feels good and one feels bad. But there is this infinite range between them. In other words, you call them all kinds of different things because of different exposure to different experiences. You find different ways of describing your emotions, and you have become better at pinpointing verbally words that mean how you feel. In other words, your ability to describe feelings is unsurpassed. Even your color palette is not as broad of spectrum. You are very good. It is uncanny how, as we visit with some dear friend in the hot seat, how you can find agreement or consensus as an audience on how this person feels. You easily find the word. And in most cases, you are very close in agreement. And while there are a lot of words that mean the same thing, and sometimes you mean different things when you use the same words, the words that you use to describe emotions are pretty accurate in most cases. But we are not so much wanting you to worry about finding the word that describes the way you feel, as we are wanting you to identify the feeling of how it feels and then consciously reach for a feeling of relief from that feeling. That's the key. Now think about what that means. Step 1 says, ask. Step 2 says, source will answer what you're asking. Step 3 says, you got to be a vibrational match to what you're asking for. And if you're not, then there is some resistance, which is always accompanied by some feeling. So if your dominant intention is to reach for relief of whatever you are feeling, can you see that you've got to be headed toward where you want to go? So, as we're moving forward here today, we're going to move up this vibrational scale. We're eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. There is nothing that is off limits. It will be a very comfortable unfolding, without exception. As you pay even the slightest bit of attention here, you're going to release resistance, which means your physical conditions are going to improve, your relationships are going to improve, your financial conditions are going to improve. In other words, all of these things that you've been wanting, whether you've been openly speaking them or not, Source has been hearing. You have been amending your preferences steadily for years. And Source knows exactly who you are and what you want and understands your worthiness of it.